Hi, I'm Penny Rubin, and I'm going to share some of my art classes with you so that you can see how fun it is to work with acrylic paints and things. I live in Laguna Woods, and I teach classes here, and I do one evening every month of one of those wine parties, and I have private students. And so what I'm going to share with you is the kind of work that I do, and hope that you enjoy it. And maybe if you're out in California sometime, give us a buzz and see if you can come and work too. So I was doing lectures all of COVID on different things and teaching about artists and art museums and different styles and just fun things that we wanted to learn. So I have some wonderful lectures. This is my Laguna Woods group, and they're all senior citizens. Many of them have never painted before. And so it's kind of fun to see the progression, and some of them keep coming back and some don't. So here we go. First thing I do is teach them how to do underpainting so that we kill the white on the canvas, and that's an important thing to do. And here we did By the Bay and the Winery. This was in San Diego, and this was made up. I made that one up. And you see my What's Under Your Feet book. I had a drawing, and that lady got a chance to win my book. So I always start my lectures, my pour and paints, with a step-by-step so everybody knows what's coming up so that they don't have to sit there and worry and think, I can't do this. It's very, very basic. I realize most of them can't draw, so I try to pick scenes or still lifes that they'll be able to work on. This was the last week's we did, and it's called Good Morning. And there's the painting. And here are some of the results. Remember, some of these people have never painted, and the other ones on the top over there have painted before. They've come to several of my pour and paints and pours. This was Laguna Beach. That was a fun painting to do. And here's some results. This was one of my favorites. I wasn't sure if I would be able to teach this in 2 hours, but I did. And we did all this checkerboard stuff, and it was really cool. So I called it Tulips with a Checkered Past. Look at that. And the results. I love this. This is my screensaver on my computer. Isn't that pretty? There it is. And the gazebo. This is in San Diego and Lakeside, California. And I did a plein air piece there. And this is the piece I did. And I taught them how to do it. And they did the gazebo and the bridge and little animals in there. So that was a fun piece. A tisket, a tasket. That was a fun one. We started with a black canvas, so they didn't have to underpaint this one, but there were a lot of steps to it. And I thought they really did super job on the baskets because that was the fun part. And here's mine. And this was Tuscany. Now, when I originally did the painting, it had a great big arch so that you could peek through it, but they all ran out of time and they came up with these, and I just thought they did really fun. They got to make up whatever they wanted. I always tell them, do not copy my work, do it yourself. So step by step, they did it. Look at the mountains and the trees and the grounds, and very, very good job. Whoop, this is my other favorite, and it's funny. I'm going to show you mine. Okay, well, I happen to have these little polka dot sponge sticks, and I just thought at the last minute, I said, oh, maybe they could put white dots on the black and black on the white, and they did, and I thought this was just so cute. Could you imagine that hanging in their granddaughter's bedroom or in a bathroom. Really sweet. Look at that. It was fun, fun, fun. Might do that one again. Okay, now this was a made up from several photographs that I did when I was in New Zealand. I took photos of this Mount Tamaka, I think, Tamata. It smelled, anyhow, it was a really fun place. And they really did a super job. It just showed them how to do the sky and then the mountains and then the grounds. And we put the details in the front and we gray it down in the back. And look at how beautiful they did. Nice work. And this one, that was fun. Here's the picture. I just thought it would be kind of a kick to do something different. And I went and I bought seashells and I had my husband go get me some sand. So we painted the bottom and then we sprinkled the sand on the bottom. So all of those sandy places on those paintings are real sand. And then when I had them hold their pictures up, all their seashells were falling off. So it wasn't funny, but it was it was what it was. And this was a combination of sunsets. And I just think they did super duper. You know, most people say, oh, the sky's blue, and they just paint the sky. And I always say, number one, you don't want to get a bucket of blue paint and just paint, and I call it a Lowe's or a Home Depot sky. But look at these skies. They all just really went crazy with this and the silhouetted things. It was a fun piece. And this was an early one that I did on orchids, and it was really nice. I think everybody had a really good time learning how to paint flowers. And there's mine. I was trying to tell them the background should kind of be undulating and mottled so that it isn't a in-your-face background. And this one was fun because I told everybody to bring their favorite lighthouse and that they would be able to paint their lighthouse. So this was our lighthouse project. So look at all the fun they did, and was telling them about creating movement in a picture and how you have to have the straight line for the water line or it'll look like it's falling off the earth. So they did a nice job. And this was really fun. It's called Have a Seat. And I always like to put a chair in. One of my students says she always feels when she looks at my paintings that she just wants to go sit in that chair and enjoy herself and, you know, whatever's on the table. And I think this was the one where I taught them the special trick on how to use a doily so that you can paint that texture into the tablecloth. So that was kind of fun. And here's mine, and you can see the doily work underneath. And this was Snowy Mountain. I'm sorry it's fuzzy, but just wound up that way. I did it 2 different times. And so I had, maybe this was same time. Maybe I'm looking at the people, so, but I did it 2 times. So this was looking out my back window when Mount Baldy had snow on it. And it's really cool, so. And these were some of the earlier ones. The sunflowers, we had a really good, successful try. And then the one going cheap has to do with a rooster or a chicken with a baby chicken. And we just had such a good time. And again, that was on a black canvas. So here are some of the ones that we worked on. I just thought you'd like to see some of my work, but I tried to inspire my students, you know. And like, again, I don't want them to copy my work. I want them to get the idea and then take it on their own. Oop. Now, this is my painting classes. We do mixed media. I work with the Art Association doing classes and the Recreation Department. I do Friday afternoon classes in Laguna Woods. So here we were working on a great big huge canvas and we were working with texture. And I couldn't find the picture of the final piece, but you can sort of see we had lots of fun things that we could print in there. And I always have all my classes practice using brushes. I find a lot of people don't teach brushes. So we do push and pull up and pull down and all kinds of fun stuff. So I love doing bamboo, so I show them how to do that. I've taken Chinese painting classes, brushwork and stuff. So it's kind of a nice method. Now here's some of my students' work from the Laguna Woods art classes. I just think, you know, I teach design elements, and the elements are line, shape, form, color, light, texture, pattern, space, motion, and time. And so I try to get them to use some of those design elements. And here was one of my first days. I told everybody to take off their shoes and paint them. And so this was my first class for the Art Association, and I think they just did really fun. I also did bring a whole pile of shoes, so anyhow, look how fun that was. Whoop. And then this is my Friday painting class, and we have different subjects. This one looks like we did a lot of birds this time, but I usually bring a whole bunch of stuff and just fill the tables with things, and everybody can get inspired, or I have books for them to try. And we did a lot of water this one semester, so you'll see a lot of water signs. Here's some of the water, see the lighthouse, and we have watercolor, we have colored pencil, we have pastels, we have oil and acrylic. And here's hours of work on our water. We had 5 weeks of working on water. So again, look at all the motion and look what's going on in all those pieces. Fun, fun, fun. So here we are practicing painting and drawing. I always bring something to draw, or we practice with the brushes, or we see some wonderful books. I always do a lecture so they know where they're going, but they work hard. And here's some of the Friday students' work, from our birds to our still lifes. Here's the birds right there, lots of fun. Started doing cloth. That was one of the things that we tried to do. Here, my friend Dean, he was a new painter. I love his work, but he came up with doing the bottle and that spy mystery, and I suggested to him to tell the story and put the wine glasses in, and he did it, and I was so proud of him. Look at that. And then one day when we were working with fabrics, I brought all these hats in, and the hat was one of the straw hats on a zebra tablecloth. And here Jeannie, she started to, I showed her some Tarkay work, and she loved Tarkay, so she started making her own. And then there was a seashell one that she did. So here's some of our beginnings in the water. And what I did was I had a whole bunch of words in a little bucket, and they had to pick 3 of them. And you can see the bottom one, Jeannie did that one. And she picked palm trees, island, and sandcastle. And that's what her painting is. So that was kind of fun. I've also had some spinning games where they had to pick numbers, and then we would paint whatever the spinner said. So here, look at all this. I have just wonderful, wonderful memories of all these people just working, working, working. And then sometimes I did a little video at the end, and this was one of the videos. At the end of the video, I did this, and I was able to do this all in PowerPoint. And this was from the water one that I did. That was kind of fun. And these are my private students. They either came to my house or to the open market. OC, I had my gallery there. And some people come work on my patio, but I love to coach them. I always tell them, you know, make all the mistakes you can so I know what I need to teach you. And so it was really cool. And I had this young man who came for the last 5 weeks, and he was working with landscapes, and he had never painted before. And I had to show him a lot of technique, but I think that he really learned a lot. And I did a lecture on color theory, on composition, on depth, and design elements. And I think that he learned an awful lot. Be interesting to see if his art teacher, if he continues art, but this is what we learn in my class: design elements, composition, depth, application, techniques, and color theory. And I'm hoping my Friday classes are going to start soon because the clubhouse isn't open yet. So there is. And thank you for coming.